as opposed to the goals I want. And so that's really important to start analyzing what your reasons and justifications are. So I want you to, on your pen and paper, right now, write down last time you talked yourself out of something. Something you wanted to do and you talked yourself out of it. It can be something like, I want to run in the morning, and you wake up and you look outside and it seems a little bit cold. You're like, oh, it's a bit cold today. I'll run later when it warms up. Or, oh, I ran yesterday, I don't need to run, I should take a day off. Or, I'll do it later in the afternoon. Whatever it is, there's something that you do to justify why you shouldn't do that behavior right now. So write down what those things are. So take a second, write it down. The other part that's important is to understand what is driving your behaviors. What do you want to accomplish? And on the same piece of paper, write down a goal you want to have. So, what is that goal? It can be, you can start off something simple. I want to accomplish X. And maybe choose something that you can accomplish within a few hours or within a few days. And write that goal down. And then write next to it how you might justify yourself out of doing it. For example, yesterday, I needed to do some writing. And I had everything there laid out to write. And then I realized about 30 minutes had gone by from the time I determined I was going to write. And I had done stuff. I'd cleaned up things. I'd put things away. I'd even started preparing a meal, which I didn't need to do right then. But I had, there was going to be discomfort in me doing that writing because I had to sit and I had to work and I had to think through these things and figure it all out. And so I was avoiding discomfort and then going to find something comfortable. I love things to be organized and I love eating. So I went to those behaviors subconsciously. That drove me and I had to catch myself and bring myself back. And we got to treat ourselves like that. Like this animal that's misbehaving and we bring it back gently. You don't have to be mean to it. You don't have to be mean to yourself. But you can gently bring it back into the routine that's going to cause that behavior. With health, the way typical health goes with people, your metabolism shifts and your behaviors shift over your life. So you consume more calories at different parts of your life. But people don't suddenly gain 30 pounds. What happens is they gain 10 pounds every year. And then in a few years, or I think it's 5 pounds maybe. They give 5 pounds every year and then, in a number of years, you're 40, 50 pounds overweight. It happens so slowly. But your behaviors and habits that you do each day caused you to end up with that result. So we need to flip that. We need to go, hey, what goals do I want and what habits and behaviors can I have around that are going to cause this positive goals? And then I have to not negotiate. So that's the self-discipline part, which we're going to get to now. And self-discipline, people don't usually like that word. They don't usually like the self-discipline idea. But the way to think about it is this, is take it on as though there's nothing else I would rather be doing right now as opposed to this. Knowing that it's going to get you in the future what you want. So there's nothing else I want to do. That's self-discipline. And it's not negotiable. Don't ask yourself if you should get up and run. Don't go, hey, should I run? It's just you do it. And if you do it that way, in 21 days, you will have a new habit set. And it's much easier if you disarm the behavior. You still need to force the self-discipline because you will slide back to your old behaviors. And you have to keep them in mind, what's driving it, what's the importance of it. So write down just some goals that you want to accomplish and what could could be the barriers, which are your reasons and justifications for getting out of it. And then how would you feel if you accomplished those goals? What would it change in your life? And that is got to be the key. You got to highlight that. What will it change my life if I do this? Because it's not going to be so clear and conscious as it is now that when I'm talking to you about it. So it's going to it's going to be subconscious behavior that you have to watch. It's going to be habitual behavior that you got to watch. But you want to look at your day and look at, okay, what do I do each day? What do I do in my day? And what of that is gratification? And what of that is not achieving the goals I want? If you look at your day, you have 1,440 minutes in a day. If you imagine that's like a deposit in a bank. Someone told me this story a while ago, and it really helps. I have 1,440 euros or dollars deposited in my bank. I get to withdraw that and spend it. Whatever I don't spend, I lose. And each day I get a new deposit. That's what minutes are. That's what time is. I get to utilize this time either productively or not productively. And it doesn't mean that you have to work. That's not always good. You need to recover and be calm so you can be charged up for it. Like I talked about yesterday. We're essentially trillions and trillions of little batteries. We need to charge them up. These tribes that I live with, they do a lot less in their day. And no one's judging them of how successful they were. You know, did you go hunting and get extra meat? They can't because they don't have refrigeration. So they can only do what they need to do in their day. And we live with so much, we're doing so much. So it's not about doing more, it's about being efficient. So just assessing your day, what am I doing in my day that isn't contributing to my goals? So I'm going to open it up for questions now. And if you're on Instagram, there's a little question mark and a little card. Push that and you can write your question there. On Facebook, just write it in the comments and I'll try and grab it. Yeah, okay. So here's a question how do you deal with it if it is subconscious? And that's the difficulty. You have to bring that subconscious behavior to light. So I call it shadow work. So all this subconscious behavior is in the shadows and I have to shine a light on it so I can see it because it's who I am. That's my default behavior. And so I need to shine a light on that default behavior so I can then determine what it is that's holding me back. So it's the trickiest part, but it's being the watcher. So to bring it into the light, you got to look at your reasons and justifications, and that'll start to spotlight kind of what's going on. So here's another question. Let me get to it. So there's big habit changes. Someone just asked here, like, you know, if you were to move in with someone, a girlfriend or boyfriend, or do something big like that. We are animals of comfort and behavior. So we don't like change. But we're very adaptable animals too. So once we've made that change, once we've crossed that threshold and we get into that new situation, we will start creating comfort around it, because that's what we do. We create behavior and comfort. So sometimes these big changes, these life changes that will cause a whole new set of habits, but will get me to what I want. Maybe I want to have that in my life, a relationship, family, whatever it is that's motivating you. If you want that, you have to change, you have to have behavior that contributes to getting that, which means you got to look at that problem or that goal you want and create, disarm the barriers that you're going to put up in front of it. So I'm living now my routine. there's this other routine that I want to have, this other life, it may be huge, it may be a life-changing big habit that I want to have, but there's unknown there. Humans don't like unknown. So sometimes we gotta just jump. Sometimes we gotta just start. There's something very important that people usually get wrong. Activity causes motivation. It's not the other way around. It's not I get motivated, then I go and have action. It's the action of the act of doing causes motivation. I start doing it, then I start to get motivated. The best way, that's a good question. So I just got asked to stay, how do you stay kind of in this clear place where, so you're not being pulled, puppeted to these old behaviors. There are tools, like I mentioned, like the clearing, like the catharsis, that get you clear, that clear that energy so you're in a calmer place. If you can't sit in a meditative state, it can just be, if you can't just sit in a position and just focus on your breath and breathe easily, it means there's something taking you away from it. So if I'm not comfortable just being, there's something taking me away from that. But if I can just be, so people sit in Vipassana for weeks and months, even years. There's some monks that meditate for years. If you're not comfortable with that, there's something out of balance in you. And so you're being distracted from it, you're being taken away from it. And so you always want to practice every day, getting rid of any stress, running, exercising, cathartic, all these different techniques which we'll go over. Getting calm, getting in control of your energy. And now you're in a calm place. You don't need anything, right? You need very little food. You need certain things to keep us alive. It's very little that we need to live as humans. And so if I'm totally safe and calm, then I don't need all these other things that distract me, that take me away from the goals. It's 9:30 now, so I'm going to wrap up. But I appreciate you guys coming tomorrow. We're going to be back same time, 9 a.m. And it's about habit behavior, so posture and exercise and mobility. You could, from now until when this quarantine is over, you could completely change your habits, your behaviors in function of your body. So let's not come out of this time, that we're all forced into this time together, and let's not come out of it the same. Let's shift, let's change, and let's get to a better place. Let's become who we want to become. And let's have the physical mobility that we want to have. Restricted joints is one of the largest contributors to aging, which we'll talk about tomorrow. All right, guys? Thanks for coming, for joining me. Thanks for your questions. And I will see you guys tomorrow.